I think there's something to be said about the inherent violence going on in the world right now. Excuse me. And I say that to say I've been on TikTok, and I'm not usually on TikTok a lot, or I haven't been most recently, but I have been most recently, if that made sense. Just scrolling because I've kind of been bored, X, Y, and Z. And trying to stay away from that, which that's a whole nother story. But either way, I saw this video of, I guess, an altercation in Milwaukee. I don't know where that is. Where is Milwaukee? Oh, Wisconsin. Okay. It's in Wisconsin. And I saw a video about, I guess, this family. I'm not totally sure the details, but what I saw in the comments, and please don't quote me on this, was that this family had an altercation. The sibling then pulled out a gun and fired it at the other sibling. The sibling then went down. The other family members went and tried to escape while leaving that sibling on the floor, which is very treacherous. Which is sad. I don't know, but it just to say that there is a lot of animosity out here, right? Let alone the animosity that some of us have internally for what has been done to us, right? And learning how to channel that, because I'm saying this for myself too, and learning how to not only channel and work through that anger. There's a lot of anger out here too. So, right, anger meets anger, it might just blow up, right? And this is something that, like fire meets fire, combustion, or meets a flame. Fire meets a spark, or an open, I want to say an open casket, but that's not what I'm trying to say, an open socket, and it might blow up, or something like that, or a short circuit, something like that, and it might blow up. There is too much going on out here, bro, and I understand, like, the government is to blame, the powers that be are to blame about the stressors that are going on here that are gradually increasing the level of violence out here. I'm not gonna lie to you, but this has always been happening for a while, right? People have not channeled or have not even dealt with a lot of shit that they're going through. I'm not gonna lie to you, and that also includes me, because I have to realize that in this space that I'm in, there are certain things that I just haven't worked through, right? And it hasn't come up into that situation, right? And I'm trying to force or really encourage myself to be a peacemaker at the end of the day, while also understanding that maybe that person did do me disrespectfully, right? And this is just, an example of, me trying to just de-escalate the situation. And I'm sure this is going to happen, soon, when I'm going to just have to be like, do I want to take this further, or do I just want to let this die out, right? And that's the biggest thing for me, right? Because in certain situations, like, people will, keep going, like, until they get their last word or get the last shot, if you will. And I realize that's not the type of environment or situation I want to be in, which is sad, because some people can just be very disrespectful. Now, I don't know what was going on with that situation in Milwaukee specifically, but I'm just using that as an example to just say how things can escalate really fast. If I just don't understand, how to calm myself down and just walk away. And that's something I'm understanding that's very palatable for me right now. Right? What's the smartest move in a situation like that? I'm gonna walk away, right? And if you touch me, then that's a whole different story, right? Or if you lay hands, that's a whole different story. But I think I'm trying to really teach myself. And I really try to encourage other people too. If you feel the same way, if you don't, then that's okay, right? You can do what you need to do. But in this environment, in this level of or realm that we're currently in, it would behoove me to be very meticulous and very perceptive about those I'm around, the energies that are around me, how reactive those energies are. And it's just like, I understand that, right? And you have to understand, like, things trigger you too, and trigger me personally. But at the end of the day, how do I protect myself, my space, my body, and everything else in between? Right? Because I'm not gonna try. I promise you now. Like, I'm a big person about suing. I'm not really big about, like, handling shit in the streets. if it has to get there, then damn. But I mean, like, I do understand that a lot of things are escalating way too quickly, and real quickly for no reason, right? This is at work. This is also just outside, and just being very cognitive of who I'm around, right? And the energies I'm around, because a lot of people are combative right now, like, and there are a lot of people who aren't, but there's also a lot of people who are just combative, right? And it's real crazy out here. Excuse me. So I'm just saying, like, damn, like, to see that is happening in Milwaukee, and I read some of the comments that Milwaukee different, but this is only one of many hoods that we're just talking about, because this happens on and off social media, where things have been taken out of context, escalated, and now somebody is dead, hurt, or incapacitated because somebody can, channel or, regulate their emotions because they were disrespected in some way, form, or fashion. Now, I don't know what really happened in Milwaukee, so I don't know who was disrespected. I can't say that. But I'm talking about certain other situations where I've heard that somebody was just disrespected and it was escalated. And I really can't speak to that, but I can just say how elevated these things are and how quickly things are just getting escalated. And I would really encourage myself and those around me to be very perceptive and very discerning about things that you engage in and things that you don't engage in. And this is for me too. Because at the end of the day, do I want to lose my life with someone who is really unhinged and wants to prove a point, and then, things are just ending? Or, like, what do you want at the end of the day? And I think that's really important. Pride aside, because you can feel disrespected, which is not feel disrespected, you could be disrespected, right? And it's really up to you how you handle that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna give you no esoteric type of, like, proverb or whatever. Like, it's really up to you and personally what you're willing to sacrifice for that. But at the end of the day, it just boils down to being discerning about who's around you, the environment you're in, and what is the safest thing for you to do. And I say that as a person who's currently working in an environment that is very combative and very just, like, kind of belligerent. Because I work in the hood, and, like, even though I worked in the hood before, like, this is a different hood. If that makes sense, in a different state. So this is really a message for me and those who have actively understand where they are right now, and just, yeah. So that's what I got, and this is something I'm going to really hold on to myself for, because I'm just like, do I really want to fight this? Is this something worth fighting for? Right? No, it's not. Right? To try to prove a point, it's really not. But yeah.